Good morning, everyone, and what a wonderful morning it is. First of all, before we get into the real Ange-r Management stuff, just want to say thank you to Lord of Akka once again for another incredible piece of artwork. I asked for a delighted Ange, and we got a delighted Ange. So we're going to have a different one for every kind of result we have, and today it is a delightful one. It's also the great man's birthday, so we are here to talk about it. So let me bring in myself and Johnny. Johnny, how are you today?
Oh man. Oh, and Postecoglou.
Oh, and Postecoglou. And happy birthday to the gaffer.
Happy birthday, Ange. Happy birthday, Ange. I think every Spurs. I popped out last night and I bumped into a couple of Spurs fans, and just the look on their faces. They were all buzzing, and I'm sure every Spurs fan right now is buzzing. But they were wishing Brighton to whack another goal in, not West Ham off the table. But yeah, fantastic. Feel good factor is alive.
Indeed, indeed. And let's just go through the hellos to everyone. Then we'll do the breakdown of the show. And then we're going to get into it. And first of all, thank you to the over almost 5,000 people that watched last week's edition. Me and Johnny are very, very proud of this show, and I hope everyone has enjoyed it. It seems that you are. We're going for a record amount of likes today. And all I have to say is this is a show all about the great new manager we have, and it's the manager's birthday. So if you can't give a like for Ange Postecoglou and how he's doing on his birthday on Ange-r Management, I don't know what program you can.
We need at least 58 for each of these years. That's just the start. That's for starters.
There we go. There we go. So good morning, Andy. I hope you're good, my man. I hope you're well. On your bike, Scott, how are you, sir? Ian, big up, my man. Gary De Green from Australia.
Morning, Gary.
Good morning, sir.
Hi.
Good morning or good evening, whatever time it is for you. My little sis in the Tottenham family, Rachel, is in the building. How are you doing, Rachel? Happy birthday for Gracie yesterday, and well done for Alfie on his exams. So lots of love and happiness in the Jackson family. Martin, big up. James Flower, great
morning, James.
support
How you
of the
doing,
channel.
buddy?
Good morning, Fran. Hope you're well.
Fran.
Big up, Craig. Just a harmless potato. Big up. Wolves fee is in the building. Big up, Wolves. A good win for you tomorrow, and I think that yesterday, and that has heaped more pressure.
Clean sheet.
Exactly. Well, mate, I think anyone can keep a clean sheet against Everton at the moment. Good morning to Blissy. Good morning to Adrian. Good morning to LJ Baker. Good morning to Jason Nunn. Good morning to In a Coma, all the way from Melbourne, another Australian.
That was last season. In a Coma was last season.
And Ian, another one in from Australia. There's already 70 people in here, guys. Thank you very much for joining us. So, just so you guys know the way the show goes, if it's your first time watching us or you haven't watched us back, this is the order of stuff. Thankfully, we start with this. And this season, there's hardly any. If we'd started this show last season, all right, when we called Ange-r Management, it'd be called something else.
Positive.
But this would take a very long time. But this time, it's not. Then we talk about this. Then special mentions to the players that we believe deserve it, and of course, the last part is designed specifically for Ange love, and there's going to be a lot of birthday love for the great man today. So, Johnny, as you always go first, let's start with the negatives. What was negative for you?
Well, the fun one strange stat was Spurs have had a new manager in all but one of the last 6 times we've met Bournemouth. Just take that into consideration. No wonder we're in ecstasy now. No, that for me, the negatives were Richarlison, obviously. He's definitely not at the races. You can see mentally he's gone. He might not be fit in carrying, but there's no excuse. His head dropped when he trod on that ball in the second half. His head drops. Ange needs to lift him. But I've got to say, guys, it is not helped when he's going off the pitch and he's starting getting death threats from our own fans and getting DM death threats from our own fans. Guys, come on. You know, this is ridiculous, okay? You know, we should all want, however much you dislike a player, you should always want, in my opinion, to hope that they turn their game around and become a positive for Spurs. Because let's be honest, if Levy doesn't sign anybody, we're going to need him, okay? So let's hope. Right now, it's not looking good for him, so it's a negative. But, you know, I don't think that whole front three gels well together. That's Kulu, Son, and Richie as a combined unit. I think in time, Ange will find a solution to it. What that solution will look like, I'm not sure. I know I've got my ideas of what it should be, but those were the only negatives, basically, of the whole. It's not just Jason. It was actually people. There was actually someone was arrested at the stadium.
Gee, was that it? Someone got arrested at the stadium for it.
Police, I think. Yeah. He needs to. Gary. He needs to. Yeah. He needs to man up. He needs to man up. You know.
Dude,
but
that's
you know,
news.
These are up. Look, there are players we all love, and there's players we're not fans of, or what have you. But to wish them, you know, like Emerson had it last season, Sanchez had it last season, and you know, both of them have turned it round. So let's keep the positivity. In a 2-0 win, 7 points at the top of the table, we should be buzzing. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean,
let's go.
I mean, let's. Adrian's right. Architectural confidence player. Let's call it what it is. Let's deal with the death threats that you've just notified me of, and we spoke about behind the scenes. Yeah. There's not liking a player and being upset with his form. There's giving him a bit of stick and saying you need to improve. Big up Celery Agent, the first Australian fan that I knew of way beforehand. So big up to my brother.
Celery.
And KPV is in the building as well. So big up KPV. So yeah, that is just totally unacceptable. And unfortunately, again, this all stems to the modern world of social media. And it's absolutely hideous for a fan base to do this to any of their players. But let's just say it's unfortunately a common thing now that happens if a player's out of form. Now, when we signed, I remember when we signed Richarlison, I was in the We Are Tottenham TV studios for the week because Ben was on his honeymoon, so it's me and Simeon. And it was when we were apparently going for Jesus as well. And I did prefer Jesus, but Simeon brainwashed me. And I always joke about him that he brainwashed me. And when we did buy him, I thought, you know what? He actually does suit what we needed at the time better than Jesus. And it just hasn't gone for him. It just will not fall for him. I mean, even the opportunity he had when he got past the defender, then did a little Cruyff behind. This guy,
nothing's going for him.
He just cannot buy any good luck. No. Everything he turns to, every time there's a glimmer of hope, it gets dashed away from him.
Second half, Brian, when he trod on the ball.
Do you know what? When he trod on the ball, that was bad luck. But his reaction to it afterwards
was bad.
Was pathetic, childish, and ridiculous. 100%. And his head, listen, that you can criticise.
100%.
That was him.
100%.
That was him lashing out.
Yeah.
And then the stupid thing he did afterwards, when he got the ball and he ran about 20, 30 yards, there were players on the left, and he tried to pass on the right, and there was a player right in front of him. And then obviously Postecoglou hauled him off. I said it last week, didn't I? I don't think, although Son and Kulusevski greatly improved in the second half, or Son was better throughout the game, but Kulusevski in the second half, I still think we're playing the wrong players to get the best out of Richie. I really do. But
so do I.
One thing it has echoed is we do need to get this striker. And I put a tweet out this morning saying, happy birthday, because Spurs tweeted about Ange Postecoglou's birthday. So I said, happy birthday, Ange. Now Levy and Enoch, go get him the perfect present, or should I say gift? And he richly deserves it. So he needs help. He needs help. I still think he comes good. The one thing I will say is is he's got one thing he's got to work on is he hasn't got to deal with sketchers like Kane or Nike or Adidas. He's got boot deals with a bouncy castle company because he's got no first touch. His first touch, and it's been the same elsewhere, but that you can train and work on. But when you look at it, I mean, there's a few people saying that they're not true. Fact, this is right. Let's just go through a few of these. Even as some amount of fan, Richarlison, it's come harder and harder to defend him after each game, which is true.
Yeah.
The reaction is why he got subbed. Bang on. Death threats is just silly. Tottenham on tour's very own Ryan Isaacs. Good morning, my brother. Said negatives. We weren't ruthless enough. That is a good point. We are completely dominant. And Tequila, my brother. When Ben Kaufman comes in, Ben will make you a mod. But yeah, it was Richarlison.
Can I just mention another negative, which is getting on my nerves now, right?
Oh, Ben's here. Ben, can you make one quick thing? Ben, can you make Tequila 316 a mod, please? If you can, brother. Thank you very much indeed. Go on, brother.
What I'd like to say is that I'm fed up with the incessant interviews and comments and analysis where every single time they have to mention Harry Kane. We are no longer Harry Kane FC, right? Okay? We are a team now, right? We are not Harry Kane. Harry Kane this. Where will the 30 goals come from? From Harry Kane. Ange, every comment seems still to be Harry Kane. How long will it be before they just stop with the narrative? Okay? It's just enough now. He's moved on. We've moved on. This is a team game now, right? We are no longer Harry Kane FC. We are no longer nothing without Harry Kane. Have you noticed? We are a team without Harry Kane. Okay?
Yep.
Fact.
Yep, it is fact. And I've got to say, well done, people. We've only been going 12 minutes. There's 140 of you in here already. Thank you very much. And like I said, what we're trying to do today, if you're happy with your manager and you want to wish him a happy birthday, just simply press that like button. If you haven't pressed subscribe, press subscribe. The likes that we're getting on this show are just ridiculously off the charts. So I just want to say thank you for everyone supporting the channel. So, you know what? I think we are fully done. I'm loving this. Last season, like I said, the negatives, we would have been here for about 3 weeks. But now let's move on to the next section. And we don't go into players on this. The players get special mentions for people that are new to the show. Johnny, as always, you'll go first.
Right. So one of the positives, there's so many. For me, when everyone spoke about Ange's high line and getting a new defence and, it's going to be rocky and we're going to concede goals and all the rest of it. I think in the 2 games last season, both games were 3-2. I think we won 3-2 and we lost 3-2, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, you do.
So
both last-minute winners.
Yeah, right. So here we are. We're playing Bournemouth. We're away from home, and we keep another clean sheet. Another clean sheet. Let's look at that, right? We played Man United, Brentford, and Bournemouth. 2 of them away from home. We've only conceded a soft penalty and a deflected goal. That's it. In 3 games. This is a team that conceded 63, was it 61, 63?
63.
63 goals last season. Okay? Wow. And this is just the beginning. This is the beginning of the journey. And already we've seen a positive. I mean, it is a positive. There's no 2 ways about it. That penalty was soft and their goal was lucky, the deflected goal. So that's my first positive.
Okay, right. Positives. All I got to say is I can't believe what I'm about to say, but we had defensive managers that couldn't get our team to defend, and we now have an attacking manager, and our defenders are incredible. And not only are they incredible, I was looking at it yesterday, and if you look at Udogie was here or was on loan and was a signing of us. Porro was here for the second half of the season. But the only mainstay in that defence, even including the goalkeeper, is Romero. So that back 5 has 4 brand new players having to get used to the style of play, the system, the club, the new players around them, like in their unit and further up the pitch. And what this man, and like I said, when it comes to Ange love, we're going to have I think the biggest Ange love ever today on his birthday. That back four, honestly, to me, everyone. Well, we'll get into special mentions when we do. But a lot of people were saying Maddison was man of the match. But for me, it's any of that back four. That back four yesterday was simply outstanding, magnificent. Yesterday, if I didn't follow football and someone had said to me how long have they been playing with each other, I would have said a few years. If someone had said to me a few weeks, I'd be like, shut the front door. I'd be like, get out. There's no chance. They were superb yesterday, the defence, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean, they were high-fiving. Mickey and Christian Romero were high-fiving each other. I mean, they were going around to each other's house, getting to grips with each other, developing a friendship. So that's good that they get on. But you could see the desire from those two in particular to win everything. As I said, they were high-fiving each other. Yeah, I mean, the camaraderie at the back there was absolutely superb, really superb. I mean, the thing I'd like to mention is how many backwards and sideways passes did you see? There's hardly anything. Yep. Everything is progressive, forward, everything. And, for me, that's really refreshing, trying to move that ball quickly forward, as opposed to last season. It was just shocking. So it's great. One of the things that I really liked which I thought was a positive, was, bringing on, when he brought on the subs, when he brought on Højbjerg and Perisic, to add that experience ahead of Udogie and Saul, because both of them were having a really, really good game. Yeah, he felt like to take them off and to add that experience to see out the game. I've got to be honest with you. I think we'll have far better tests. I thought Bournemouth were very poor yesterday, but still, the way he brought those two subs on, and how those two players really had a really good influence on that team, I thought was a real positive. Some people would see it as a negative because they wanted to see, say, a Solomon come on, which I would have liked as well. But I thought, he's looking to see in certain games when we're hanging on, maybe, or things are a lot tougher, that he's going to bring these players on, just as he did it, against Man United. So for me, it's a strange positive, but I like the fact that, he sees those two players as a crucial part of what's going to happen in moving forward. But the passing, the forward passing, and just trying to get that ball forward as quickly as possible is just refreshing.
Okay, you mentioned style of play. I was going to use that, but you know what? I'm going to step away with something away from the performance, but to do with the game and the team, is just from what you can see, the happiness in the team.
Yeah.
The way they're celebrating together, the way they're communicating during the game together, the way they are conducting themselves in interviews. I mean, when we get to the Ange love, Ange said some things yesterday which has just had me in stitches all evening. Like, I was just going through Twitter, watching people do all the interviews, and when we get to the Ange love, my God, there's going to be some quotes and whatever. But you know what? I watched, because I didn't get to see a lot of it because I was doing the watch along, the build-up when Maddison is doing his interview with Joe Cole, when Maddison is doing his interview afterwards, when there is just a happiness in this camp. And what I will say is we had so many Celtic fans that started watching Tottenham Hotspur content on all the channels afterwards, saying, you don't know what you've got. You really don't understand what you've got and what this guy will do. And obviously we heard and we saw that he gets on with the team and everyone loves him. My God, I have never seen a manager have such an immediate impact on a team. Yes, on the big teams like the Real Madrid, whatever, but in a club that was so deflated, so fragmented in every single department.
It's incredible. It's so quickly, Brian. So quickly.
It is absolutely insane. But do you know what? I think if we carry on talking positives, we're going to run into special mention players. So
we're not really into that. I mean, look what's happened to Celtic since he's left. Brenda Rodgers, right? I mean, they lost in the cup. Was it Kilmarnock they lost?
I haven't kept an eye on Celtic at all.
Yeah, I'm a Spurs and Rangers fan, but you know, I you can see it's dropped off. It's like when Ange left, it was like taking all the air out of your tyres, right?
Yeah.
4 tyres gone. That's how the Celtic fans felt. That's what's happened to the players and the club. And we've had the complete reverse where, you know, we've gone from, you know, so negative. But he's created the atmosphere and the optimism in such a short space of time is amazing. Yeah. Is that a positive? Or is that,
oh, mate, well, whenever his face got...
Leave his frigging face, honestly.
Well, whenever it got shown on We Are Tottenham TV, my reaction was definitely what you would imagine it to be. But you know what? It's funny you mentioned that. I saw when I was doing Twitter. Twitter's a wonderful thing when Spurs are winning. Twitter is a wonderful thing when Spurs are winning. Although what I will say as well is I saw a lot of Celtic fans that took pictures. I don't know if it was the same picture or pictures. There were a few other pictures, but literally with the wording saying, since Ange's gone, my club just ain't the same. And here we are, late August now, late August, almost September. And they're feeling the impact without him. We got
our Spurs back. We got our club back.
Yes, and before we go any further and start moving, Spurs fans were singing that. I was singing that, but I am solely talking on the football pitch. Solely talking on the football pitch, which 100%. This show is about. So there are a lot of people getting carried away going, oh, we're a certain lot that don't want the chairman in. We're still here. We're just happy that things are happening on the football pitch. But yeah, the impact this man has had, and the Celtic fans are in mourning and feeling the loss of him. Because, like you said, you follow it, but I've just seen a lot of Celtic fans that have been very deflated since he's gone. But right,
do you know what? Just like one last thing.
Go on.
The thing is with Levy, all he's done is drill for oil. Every minute he's drilling for oil. And just as we're all about to give up, including him, he strikes gold, basically. He has a massive oil reserve in Ange Postecoglou. Whether by, you know, design or accident, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful. And I wasn't even someone who wanted him. Everyone knows that I was, you know, I wanted Slot. But, you know, wow, you know, had to win someone over very quickly. It's only 3 days in, 3 games in. I understand that. But listen, I'd rather have it this way than how he started his Celtic career, where I think he didn't win in 6, was it? His first 6 games? So, yeah, all positive.
It is indeed. It is indeed. Like I said, this is a special for Ange Postecoglou. There is 255 of you in here on your Sunday morning. Thank you very much. And we're smashing likes today for Ange Postecoglou's birthday. 255 in, 90 likes. Can we get this closer for the big man? Give the man a thumbs up as a like for his birthday. Right. Once again, against United, this took long because this is where Johnny and I go 1 for 1. Giving special mentions, and the reason why we're giving these players a special mention. Feel free to put yours in the chat, people, and let's see if we feel the same way. And as always, I almost said something else there. I said, and as always, as always,
now, please.
As always, this is a different show. Tomorrow on Cockerel Doodle Doo,
get those fingers away. Get those fingers away.
Yeah, they're going away. So Johnny, as normally. And this time will be the same. You have first pick. Okay. So who are you going for first?
I'm going to address the elephant in the room. Pedro Porro. Okay.
Taking mine every time.
Right. There's so many you could mention. Look, I still feel that he's an accident waiting to happen defensively, and we'll see. You know, when we play better opposition, but he was superb yesterday, along with that whole back line. And you know, when you're adamant and I'm still adamant that I would prefer to see Pedro Porro playing with Kouliou's. I've never said that Porro was a bad player. I just feel that if he was playing in Kouliou's' position with Emerson behind him, he would be a even more dangerous player than he potentially is. But he was fantastic yesterday. His energy, his movement, he didn't put a foot wrong. And I've got to take my hat off to him. And, you know,
Off you go then. Take your hat off.
And when you've got these, sorry, I've been attacked by fruit flies. I've had a fruit fly infestation.
It's like you're in the jungle. It's like you're in I'm a celebrity, get me out of here. You're taking the Ange love too far.
They're dive bombing me as we speak. Yeah, so I have to address it because, you know, when you make a statement and you say that, you know, Porro can't defend, and I still believe that against a good team at the moment he can't defend. I'd like to see him further forward. I have to address it because yesterday he was fantastic.
He wasn't. I'm going to say, first of all, Spurs are flavour of the month, I think, everywhere. Everyone's getting taken in with Ange love, Nick. Everyone is being taken over with Ange love. It's a wonderful thing to see. Right, Porro. So, I, like you, have been very, very critical of him at right back.
Yeah.
And I believed, shall I change that too?
Well, he was more inverted yesterday. He was very inverted. He was almost as a midfielder at times yesterday.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. But I thought there is no place for him whatsoever as a right back. And then when we were at the Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust protest last Saturday, when I heard, big up Craig, when I heard that Porro was right back, I dropped to my knees and thought, oh my God, here we go. And he was superb against Manchester United. Yesterday, I think it was his best performance in the Spurs shirt, bar none. Playing at right wing or right wing back.
Yeah, it was very good yesterday.
And I will say right now, I thought Emerson was number one for the right back, and we needed to get cover for him and Porro to be
we need
competition
both.
for Kulu.
Yeah.
Well, he can do both.
Yeah.
For me, what I've seen in him in the last two games, whatever Ange is doing with him is working. The way he made, do you know what it was with him as well? It was always as well, like Højbjerg used to do when a ball went in for a throw-in. He celebrated like he just got the assist of the year. His tackling, his forward runs. I personally think he was my man of the match yesterday. It could have gone to any of the back four, in my honest opinion. I think the back four, you always try and pick the striker or the whatever as your man of the match or the creator. The back four were magnificent. Pedro Porro was absolutely incredible. I think he was brilliant. I owe him a huge apology. And as I've said, I'll always put my hands up when I'm wrong. So let me actually put my hands up. If Pedro Porro is our right back for the rest of the season, 100%, I will have all the faith and confidence in him whatsoever. And right, my first choice. Now, I think you're going to see a bit of a theme because I'm going to be working my way right across that line. Romero. Cuti Romero yesterday was absolutely incredible. It's amazing what happens when you put a class set of players around him in defence. His stats yesterday, someone sent me the stats and I can't remember who sent it. He won every single duel from what I remember. He won the most tackles, most interceptions. There's another thing he was most of, and he only misplaced one of his 37 passes. Still had his aggression, even the cheeky back heel for defending. The difference in this man, we saw it in the first season, what he was capable of, had crap around him. We knew what he was capable of second season, but he was a bit rash and injured a bit, and everyone dropped. But this man in 3 games has been the player we thought we had or knew we had in the first season. And yesterday was an incredible performance from him again. Even Maddison was saying, even though he speaks limited, when Maddison was asked who's the most impressive player you've seen at the club, the first person he said was Romero. First person, he was like, Cuti Romero, this guy is a beast. He's an animal. I think he was exquisite yesterday. What about you, Johnny?
I mean, all those people that gave him a hard time, I spent such a long time defending him last season. When you come back when you're Serie A Defender of the Year, and then you come to this club, and then you find yourself playing with Eric Dyer and Ben Davies, and then you go to the World Cup, you win it, you're on a massive high, you know, and come back, and you have to play again with that absolute toilet that he's had to play with, and people are wondering why he's rushing across that line there, trying to make up ground with these last-ditch tackles and missing a couple. I actually think it's genius what Ange has done by making him vice captain, because he's given him that added responsibility. He's already a psycho, but he's playing now as a leader on that back line, and I just think he looks the player now that we saw in Serie A that we signed. I do think that he could go Lord of the Flies. Very funny. I think he's going to go up a level and to the level that the player that we signed. He was immense. He really was fantastic. He really was. There's nothing, nothing negative I can say. But the battle, that will. I know somebody said we weren't ruthless enough, but I think they were talking about we weren't ruthless enough up front. I think we were fine at the back. We were pretty hard at the back. So
your special mention, next one.
My guy, I'm going to have to go for Mickey van der Ven.
Let's complete the set. Let's do it. Let me just say before you get there, 313 people in here. Big up everyone for spending your Sunday morning or afternoon or evening with us. We really do appreciate it. Thank you for joining us on this show that we are really, really enjoying doing, because it's just filled with positivity at the moment. And we believe we've got this formula where we break it down and speak about so many different things in so many different ways. It's a show we are very, very proud of. And to see over 300 of you in here on a Sunday morning just goes to show it. So thank you very much. Mickey, I was about to say Mickey, back to Johnny van der Ven. Johnny, van der Ven. Back to Mickey van der Ven.
Mickey van der Ven. Yeah, Mickey was just unbelievable. I mean, for the people out there who only wanted tap sober, guys, like I've had to eat my pie with Porro. Still think Porro was a good player. I never said he was a shit player. But Mickey van der Ven, we haven't even seen the Mickey van der Ven yet. What we've seen elements of Mickey van der Ven. We've seen him snub those out, those tackles with those long legs. We've seen his physicality. What we haven't seen yet is that unbelievable pace. We will see that over the course of the season when he goes into turbo mode, and you'll see one of the fastest players in the Premier League, centre-back. I thought he was commanding. I don't think he put a foot wrong the entire game. And I think the partnership that's developing between those two, I don't know where. Look, all great teams. If you look historically, are all built on a great foundation, defensive foundation. Jan Vertonghen was a really good defender, but until Jan turned up, until Jan and Toby turned up to play with Jan, they weren't as good. It was that partnership, and I think that this partnership could be extremely special. It really could. I hope we get another defender in, because God forbid if one of those goes and we have to see Dyer in, I think we'll be cursing it. But I just loved the camaraderie already that was between those two, as I said before, high-fiving each other and the link play between them. But what it enables Cuti to do is to roam forward. We've got two centre-backs who both like to go forward. He likes to carry the ball and bring it forward, and so does Cuti. In fact, we have 4 defenders who all like to carry the ball forward. Udogie, at Udogie, all he did was carry the ball forward as a left wing back, and we know about Porro. So we are very, very, very progressive, and I think we're only going to see more and more from this defence. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, let's speak about. Someone said to me, "Do I think he's going to be one of our best signings?" 100%. Listen, we were linked with so many defenders this window for obvious reasons, how badly we needed it. But the most imperative thing to do was get the left centre back in, because that's the position
100%.
since Jan Vertonghen that we've been missing. Yes, there was Tatsoba. Yes, there's still Tosin. Yes, there's whoever it may be. But the left centre back was most important. It was very clear who Ange wanted, and he wanted him at Celtic. And for a guy that's been here in 3 games,
It's unbelievable.
Again, his stats yesterday were, let's see, I'm sure I had them as well. Let's have a quick look.
Mickey's stats were off the clock. I think Ninech sent them to me.
See if you've got them. I'm going to try and find them. I tried
looking for them just now, but he sent them to me yesterday. But
I think I've got sent them in our. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, here we go. Here we go.
I've got Van der Ven. Well.
I've got Van der Ven stats yesterday.
Go on. They were off the clock.
94% pass accuracy, 85 touches, 68 out of 72 passes completed, 7 clearances, 4 ball recoveries, 3 out of 3 ground duels won, 2 out of 2 tackles completed. And you know what it was? You saw him at one point out of position and attacking, but he has that lightning pace to get back. This man, Joe, what it is as well, we've got 4 defenders now, and as I think Colin said, also no, it was someone from Australia that said with Porro yesterday. Here you go. It was Gary. It was Gary that said it. Porro looked like he was enjoying being they're all enjoying that precise thing, being the defenders. And Mickey Van der Ven is, for someone, and I'll be honest, when we were being linked to signing him,
all I saw, you, didn't I? How good he was.
Yeah, but all I saw was that one thing that everyone shows where he was running back to stop that goal line clearance, or when he ran from a corner and got back.
That was when he tackled
when he did it.
Nkunu, RB Leipzig.
Yeah, it was just a phenomenal tackle. He has come in, and Joe, one of the things I loved about Jan Vertonghen, there are so many comparisons for obvious reasons. For obvious
just without
reasons,
the pace.
But there was just so many. But do you know what? The one thing I always say about Toby and Jan was always my favourite, will always be my favourite. But for me, Jan Vertonghen understood the fans. That connection he had with the super everything. And you can clearly see that Mickey Van der Ven has got it already. You can clearly see that attachment, not just from us to him, but from him to us, is being built up. And his partnership with Romero, if this is what it's like after 3 games and 2.5 weeks together, and you got to remember, in their very, very first game, Romero was off in 10 minutes or 12 minutes.
That's what I'm saying. And we've only conceded a penalty, a soft penalty from Son, and a deflection from Mickey. Otherwise, we would have, honestly, it's been amazing.
It's unbelievable to think, and you look at it, and we have an attacking manager that's doing this to our defence. Yes, people, we got to remember, it's 3 games in. And there's a lot to go, but people have got to understand, after being 3-4 years starved of decent football, starved of a team working together, starved of unity, starved of everything, passion, desire, commitment, when you see it 3 games in a row playing the football that we were told we would get, it is absolutely incredible to see. Now I'm going to complete the back 4. And I've mentioned him every single game, and I ain't stopping now. Destiny Udogie, or Udogie, however you want to pronounce his name. My God, for me right now, and I'm not just saying this biased, he is the best left back in the league. Tell me another left back that is better in the league than him.
And tell me, Brian, how much was Udogie in the window?
Oh, mate, you do love that one, don't you? I honestly, he has come in and he has just gone off like a train, a speeding train. The power, the pace, the defending ability, the attacking ability. The connection with Perisic, who we're talking, I certainly will talk about later on when we get to him. The understanding of the team and the way he set up Kulusevski for that second goal with a brilliant passing move. I honestly, right now, you look at it, people say he won't get counted as signing of the season because obviously we signed him last year. But this man has come in, and when it comes to manager of the month, player of the month, and all this nonsense, I think Spurs have got a candidate to win the treble in manager, young player, and player, all in this backline. All in this backline, and other parts of the pitch. But I think Destiny Udogie, thankfully his injury, from what we're hearing, doesn't seem as serious as it is, or as it looked. Because when they do that, you're like, oh no, that's a bad one. But thankfully, it sounds like
that's just having a sniff to see whether he used enough deodorant.
But yeah,
nothing to do with the injury.
This he came off, and it was another incredible performance from him, wasn't it, Johnny?
Yeah, I mean, look, the pace. We actually haven't seen the best of Udogie yet. We really haven't. The 1-2 with Son on the byline to whip that ball in, that turn of pace that he showed just to get that ball back was a small part of that. But for Udinese, where you saw him as a left wing back, when he starts to motor and that train is coming down that track, right, you're not stopping him. And what he would do, he would cut inside and unleash his shot. And I think we will see that for sure this season. But we've seen him in the air, we've seen his pace, and he's a young player, and he's getting used to this position, right? Because he's nobody as a left wing back. He was a bargain. He was an absolute bargain. Another Fabio bargain. I think he's only going from strength to strength here.
Yep, you're right. Just before we carry on with your one, Moondog, thank you very much indeed for the super chat. Good morning, lads. Another great show by Richie. Hopefully this will be improving, or it needs to. It needs to. Moondog, watch tomorrow, because tomorrow we're going to go.
Moondog, let me just say this, right? You say the same thing over and over again. We all agree with you, but to say the same thing over and over and over again, let's wallow in the delight of being second in the league, undefeated, only conceded 2 goals, playing fantastic football. Let's not wallow in the crap. Let's wallow in the positivity. We've been in the negative for 3.5, 4 years. Don't want to hear it right now. Let's stick with the positivity until such time as we're transported back in time to a land we tried to bloody forget.
Exactly. Well, before you go on to your next special mention, East Coast, tomorrow I will be talking all things protest, all things, everything. This show is always solely about the performance of the lads the day before, because then we start going off track and everything. And this show has been designed specifically to only talk about Ange Postecoglou, the lads, and the performance. So everyone that wants to hear that kind of stuff, it will be on our breakfast show at 8:50 most weekday mornings. I try to do it every weekday, but sometimes something's come up and I can't make it, or we can't make it. We will be on tomorrow. So yeah, that, believe me, going into the transfer deadline week, there will be a lot of talk, and a lot of reactions about the boards, the players, and just everything. But back to today's show. Your next special mention, buddy.
My next mention has got to be James Maddison.
Let's do it. There's a lot of people waiting for this one.
For a different reason. He played a very different role against Bournemouth. He was playing much, much deeper. In fact, I believe that 45% of his touches in that first half were in his own half. And he was still controlling the game. I don't know if it was an Ange tactic, which, again, shows the flexibility of Ange, but the run for the goal, His just all-round play was superb. I don't even think we've seen the best of him yet. We are going to see, I believe, a guy who's going to score at least 10 goals and at least 10 assists. That's my prediction for this season. I think he's going to get at least 10 of each. Yeah, I do think that he was absolutely outstanding again, even though he was taken off. I don't think people realise the player we got. And again, what a signing. 30 million if you knock off the 10 million that we got amazingly for Harry Wink, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. So 30 million pound in a massively inflated transfer market, I think is going to look like one of the buys of the season.
Correct. I have to say, Josh, and anyone else that wants to put a question to me and Johnny about the performance, about players, about anything, just put at TOT or at Tottenham on Tour. I am currently starring them. Got a response from Moondog. Johnny, take this one very quickly, then I'll do my show matters. And he says, you don't agree, Johnny. You keep saying he's injured.
Listen, Moondog, I don't know why you're attacking me. I've already said at the beginning of the show that Richie's been poor, right? There isn't any excuse for it. None. Okay? So I'm just telling you he's not 100% fit, and yet he's playing because we don't have another striker. What more do you want me to say? I'm not making excuses for it. We just spent the whole beginning of the entire beginning of the show was about his negativity and his lack of form. And he needs to be dropped until such time as his form comes back, if Ange so believes. But if Ange believes that he can get him right and turn him around, then who are we to argue? You're right. Unless you're not in favour of Ange Ball. If Ange turned around and dropped him, then we have to accept it. If Ange plays him, we have to accept it. Just the same as I had to accept, Porro coming in for Emerson and having a good game. It's as simple as that.
Okay,
I've not defended Richie today, not at all.
So let's get into yours on Maddison. And first of all, I'm going to ask everyone in the chat. There's 370 of you in here. Joe Cole said something, so let's see what the responses are. Moondog just said, not attacking you, it's not in his nature. Moondog, cheers for the support, brother, and the super chats. It's very hard to get the context when someone's putting in a text.
Sorry, Moondog.
So it's all good. It's all good. But yeah, people in the chat, all 373 of you now. And I'm going to do my next like total when we go on to Ange and the birthday boy and see how many likes we got for the birthday boy. So if you haven't,
how many likes have we got now? Let's have a look. At
I'm not going to look until we get to Ange. I'm not going to look till we get to Ange. But listen, people in the chat, 380 of you now. It keeps going up, thankfully. Joe Cole said something. So before I start speaking about James Maddison, Joe Cole said that James Maddison is the transfer of the window so far.
Yeah, I think he is.
Let's see. People in the chat, just go yes or no. Or if no, put the player you think is. But let's have a look and see how many people will agree what Joe Cole said. And I have to say a quick thing. Now I mentioned Joe Cole. Do you know how refreshing it is to have an ex-Chelsea and West Ham commentator or pundit that actually speaks positively and truthfully and doesn't show his bias that he will have being an ex-Chelsea and Chelsea and West Ham player? It's so good to see Joe Cole speaking like he does. Joe Cole is actually a player I really, really enjoyed watching. But let me just quickly go through the yeses and whatever. So we've got yes, K-Man again transfer. Yes. No, Messi from Dirty Sanchez. Yes. Yippers from... Yeah, I think you could see... okay, Mickey van der Ven from Jason.
You might be right, Jason. He could end up being...
And Moondog.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like...
creative, what we're saying here is when a defensive midfielder is going for Casiado 115 million, Fernandez 115 million, Rice 105 million, 30 million for a creative midfielder who is going to really take our club to another level. could well be an absolute game changer for us. It's what we've been crying out for.
Yep. And before I start talking about Madders, Dara, thank you very much indeed for the super chat. Madders showed a captain's performance he did. I mean, first of all, I was surprised he was in the squad. I really thought he was going to be rested and it would be ready for Fulham or Burnley next week. But obviously, he was on the pitch. And this man is dictating everything. Everything advanced is going through him. And I saw it against Man U, and I saw it yesterday. What this man, I knew this man could create. I knew this man had a pass in him. I knew this guy could shoot, score goals, do everything up there. The one thing I doubted was his ball carrying ability and literally running it from deep in our own half. And he showed it again yesterday. That he does have. I thought he was a wonderful player before he got him. Yes, it's 3 games in. Yes, it's very, very early doors. And yes, we've been starved of it since Ericsson. But the impact this man is having, and what I am seeing, I don't know if I was the only one that thought, whoa, he's just walked in, he's vice captain. I thought, well, but do you know what? He has come in, and even on his Instagram posts, when Richie posts, he's there going, don't worry, the goals. This man, both on and off the pitch, is just a breath of fresh air. The only negative I have for him is he should have scored moments before he actually did score. But
look at the intelligence, Brian, to be playing the role he played yesterday was completely different to how he's played it every single game for us. To be sitting there as a deep line playmaker and then carrying the ball. I've not, just not seen that in his game. I'm sure Ange knows why he did that yesterday, playing so deep as opposed to before. But even when he gets forward, his ability to affect the game, to be honest.
Yep, you're right there. I just think he has been wonderful. Before I go on to my next special mention, good friend of the channel and a guy I met and spent the whole Saturday with, Hennessy, has just dropped in a super chat, so thank you very much indeed, Hennessy. How are we feeling about Vicario now? Do you know what? I'll go first.
I was a fan before.
I've said it before, I'll say it again. When we signed him, I was going absolutely nuts because it was cheaper option. So I was going, mate, I had one of my biggest meltdowns on We Are Tottenham TV.
I tried to calm Brian down.
Oh, mate, even Ryan Isaacs tried to. Me and Ryan Isaacs were walking my sister's dog around the block, and me and Ryan Isaacs have never raised voices to each other. We were walking the dog, and we were screaming at each other. And I was going, oh, this is typical Levy, this is da-da-da. And he was like, no, it's not. No, it's not. I was like, shut your mouth. I was getting really, for us, quite heated. Never would have come to blows or anything, but it was the first heated kind of discussion we had. And I was concerned. Then I was concerned about his footwork. But my God, after Manchester United, I was always giving him a chance.
Well, Nima, I got to tell you, when I had my space and we invited Nima on, who's the Italian journalist, and you were in that space, and he told you that he believes that he could easily become the next Italian goalkeeper, the way he's progressing, he started to make you think to yourself, well, you know what, maybe I should be giving him a chance. And everything Nima said and what I said to you, seeing him playing at Empoli and some of the games, he has amazing talent. But the fans, they all jumped on him, didn't they? They did.
He has been outstanding. And again, do you know what? I think yesterday he was magnificent. Again, the one save he had to make, he made that diving save and pushed it far out. Unlike previous goalies that just put it into the danger area, he was vocal. He was in the first half, I think his distribution was outstanding. Second half, he was obviously going long for some reason. He must have got an order to do so. Moondog is saying, Madders, what a steal at that price. Matt, we discussed it. It really is an exceptional bit of business. Big up, Holly. It's always good to see you. But my next one, we're going to do it again. It's Papa Maddison. I swear, me and Ben Daniel are going to get that chant going. That is the chant for this man. And do you know what? The first half, he tied in the second half. First half, he had a couple of sloppy moments, but the pass to set up Maddison, The pass, to see that pass and pull it off, and like Maddison said, I started running because I saw he had the ball and knew he could do it. This guy completely, all the time, keeps adding new things to his game that we hadn't seen. And I think in that first half, again, he was outstanding. The three midfielders, but Pape Matar is simply a breath of fresh air and has been absolutely incredible in these two games. Johnny, what do you think?
I honestly, you know how much I've been raving about him.
Yeah.
I was watching him. I tried to watch some of the games in France, and you know, he was dropped for a bit, and I didn't get to see a lot. But I always said it reminded me of a young Patrick Vieira. But the game that really I got to see him was England versus Senegal in the World Cup, where he had an outstanding game, and then that game against AC Milan, where he shone, and Conte did that amazing thing by showing his appreciation by dropping him and kicking him into touch.
Yeah,
it was fantastic. I've got to say, the special mention, that goal yesterday, which was going to be the first goal. The first goal I thought was absolutely superb. It really was. Bissouma's little flick, the pass for that he laid on there for Maddison, the weight to pass it through the defensive line, and for Maddison to run onto it, and the way he put it away, it was a superb goal, right? And I don't believe those are the sort of goals that people thought we would score without him that shall not be mentioned, right?
Yeah.
Because we are now a team. I thought it was a great goal. And again, I like the fact that why was he taken off? Why was Udogie and Sarr taken off? To bring on those experienced players to see out the game. But the energy of Sarr, the running, when you see that guy still running and running and running, he does not stop. He just does not stop running. And I think it's demoralising if you're a defender or a midfielder. It can be demoralising. And I think maybe Ange, when he uses so much energy, because Ange ball is high intensity, maybe he feels that, he doesn't want to injure them or blow them out. Well, let's hope that Udogie wasn't injured too badly yesterday. But he's protecting them, I believe.
Yep. And before we go on to your next special mention, Michael Hubman, thank you very much indeed for dropping a super chat. Hot take, the team Ange inherited is a lot more complete for his system compared to both Correct. Mourinho and Conte's system. Johnny?
Well, I've said this before. Look, I might not have liked Conte, but what he had was a group of progressive footballers that he was trying to turn into pragmatic footballers. And it just didn't work. It felt alien to them. So I said that when Ange signed, that he's going to have a better transition than Conte, because what he's got to do is just to remind the progressive player that he's inherited of what the original game was. And that's why they look happy. That's why these players who last season looked miserable most of the season now look like happy. Even during the game, they're smiling. Do you know what I mean? A happy player is a good thing during match game. And I just think that you're 100% right. He has the right players. He has had the new signings. Let's not forget about that. They have been a blessing. But who's to say that Conte wouldn't have played them? I mean, he didn't play Bissouma. Bissouma was signed in July, and in October we were still hearing that he wasn't quite right yet. He was learning how to play football the Conte way. Well, not being funny, but I've seen him in 3 games playing the Ange way. And Antonio, I prefer this version. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm the same. What he's done with the players that were there has been incredible. Also, I think getting rid of the man that we don't speak about anymore has shared the responsibilities within the team. So it's
man
not just
shall not be mentioned.
So we don't need to play through them or through him anymore, and it's more of a team game now, as a team responsibility, as opposed to all expectations on a couple of individuals. But we're going back to special mentions, Johnny.
Quick one, Yves Bissouma.
Yeah, you can speak about it. I'm very happy you didn't mention my one because I really want to give a lot of time to my one. So go on, Yves Bissouma, let's speak.
Yeah, so Yves, he played well in the first half. He had a couple of crunching. I mean, Bournemouth really did come in and thump into some heavy tackles. And Bissouma was on the end of him. It was a bit, to me, it looked like the manager had said to them, look, get after him, make your presence felt. And, you know, that tackle, I think one of the tackles on Romero as well, that was quite meaty when he was up in the air. Like when he came down on his back and on his hip. But no, I thought Bissouma had another good game. He was taken off, but I think that again, that was due to a few of the knocks and bashes he was getting. But again, carrying that ball from the middle of the park, that midfield three is as good as any midfield three, I believe, in the Prem.
Have a great day. Thank you for the support, Moondog. Have a great one. Sorry, Johnny, go ahead. I just wanted to.
That midfield three could go on to become one of the best midfield threes in the Premier League. As good as any. Yeah.
Do you know what, Bissouma? I said it at the watch along yesterday. Every single game, he's done a couple of turns.
Yeah,
it's like the opponents need sat-nav to find him, because he's literally. I don't know how he does it. He drops his shoulder and turns his feet the other way. He's dropping his shot. I don't know how he does it. It's some kind of special witchcraft he has, or wizardry. And you know what? He has worked his socks off. And that midfield three, I honestly, they complement each other so well. And it's a joy to see. And you know what? I'm so happy to see Ange be ruthless and take him off. Whether it be you've been playing well, come have a rest. Whether it was I need some more experience on to shore it up.
Yeah.
What he's doing is incredible. I'm happy Yves Bissouma came off. I believe we were 2-0 up when he did come off. The game was pretty much sewn up and he got that time off. And my special mention, and I thought it would go under the radar, but a certain friend of the channel has got it bang on the money in the Americanco. It's always good to see you in here, and I hope
we
you're good.
We haven't forgotten him. I'm saving it for the end.
Mate, this guy, So do you know what? I really do want to talk about him in quite a bit of context, because when we signed him last summer, I literally said that's our marquee signing. He is going to be out. What a signing! What a breath of fresh air! And then obviously we already
messed him up.
He was in the wrong position. But since pre-season and since he's played up top and been his introduction yesterday, we're talking about what I'm saying with Richarlison as well. People are saying Richarlison needs to be dropped or given a rest, whatever buzzwords you want to use, because of his lack of form. I'm sorry, I'm not going down that path. I'm going down the path that he needs to be dropped, rotated, to get Perisic into the team. Because my word, that guy came on. Some of his passing, especially that first time volleyed pass that he passed off to Udogie, and the connection he has with Udogie, especially for that second goal, his give and goes, his quality of crosses, his performance. I'm sorry, this man has to stop. For me, yes, he's getting older, and who knows if he keeps himself incredibly fit. This man is probably one of the fittest we have at the club. This man yesterday, for me, shows just why and I actually think he could be the man to get Richarlison firing. I really, really do. Whether we play Son in the middle, whether we play Richarlison in the middle, or Son, I don't. At the moment, that's up for the manager. But for me, Ivan Perisic has to start for Tottenham. I think he has been fantastic this pre-season and this season. I think he really does need to come on. He was absolutely immaculate yesterday. What do you think, Johnny?
Listen, I'm a huge fan. You know, many of the spaces we've spoken about play Ivan in his position as one of the world's best left wingers. There's no two ways about it. He's an incredible left winger. There was a moment in that game where he beat a player he could have scored yesterday, but to play Son on that left-hand side, to me, is such a waste, hugging that touch line. Perisic, the ball's in. But, you know, I've said this, you know, I think if Richie had Perisic whipping those balls in, and we had Porro on the other side whipping the balls in from the right, he would definitely have got goals or create stuff. And I'm all for, even Richie's not playing, play Perisic on the left, play Porro on the right in Kulu's position, and play Sonny through the middle. Perisic is unbelievable. And that's why I was saying earlier in the thing about the positives. The substitution of bringing on Perisic and Højbjerg, or Højbjerg, or whatever you want to call it, was really a crucial part of that game. We just controlled it from the moment they came on. I know a lot of people don't really want Højbjerg to stay at the club, but I do think that he offers a lot. I think he had a very good game when he came on, and Perisic as well on that flank. I'm like you. I really think Perisic has so much to offer. 11 assists last season, playing in a poor team in the wrong position. I think that this season, if you played him, he could easily beat that number. And the chaos in the defence. If you've got Porro whipping in from the right, Perisic whipping in from the left, you've got Maddison, Sarr and Basuma coming in through the middle. There's so many options. And this is what Ange was talking about creating chances from all over. Right now, I'm not seeing that from Kulu on the right. I know he scored, which was a good goal. No two ways about it. But yep. I just think we could create more. Maybe that's how it will go. Who knows?
Exactly. I just want to say as well, first of all, Audio, you know my love for that person you've just mentioned. I have set all my notifications on for Port Vale. I will be keeping a very, very close eye on it. And on one show every single week, I think it'll be either on Cockerel Doodle Doo or the review that I do with Ben Kaufman, there will be a special section dedicated for the superstar that we have in our midst in Alfie Divine. So stay tuned for loads of Alfie Divine watch. You know how much I love that man. And just want to say there's 422 people in. And there was a comment here, where is it? From Mark saying, really enjoying this show. Thank you very much, mate. It's a show we've put a lot of thought and effort and work into. And to have 430 odd people in watching us just goes to show that we're doing something right, which is brilliant. Johnny, after Perisic, do you have any other special mentions? Or do we go on to the man?
Well, I'm just gonna make it. I feel like I maybe was a bit unfair on Son and reflection.
Okay.
I don't like him out on the left. I'm sorry. I just
already had it cornered. That's done.
Divine intervention. Yeah.
I've always said it. That's what I say whenever I put the tweet out. But Andy Lloyd is a man that's brilliant when it comes to these kind of things. So thank you.
We mentioned that divine intervention. I think Son. He needs to adapt that role. Tugging that touchline, he's wasted. I just like him closer to the play, to Richie or whoever's playing there. I thought he was better in the second half. The flick ball for 1-2 with Destiny was superb. I think there's more to come. I just I felt that maybe on reflection I didn't give him fair due, so I just thought I'd give him a mention.
Yeah, Joe, I'll come into it. I mean, like last season, he came in for a lot of heat from a lot of people.
Is he undroppable though? Is he under? Is you know?
Well, I don't. Do you know what? Under any other manager, I probably would have said yes, he is undroppable. But you saw on Ange's first game at Brentford, first sub he made, off he comes, son. I don't think he is undroppable, but he looks so much better centrally. He does look at night and day centrally. He can take on the responsibility. And yeah, you're right. He does deserve a special mention. And Joe, what? Whilst you're doing that, I might as well do it for Kulusevski. Let's have a bit of honesty and a bit of love here right now.
Without
Kulu
love.
again, who I thought was very ineffective in the first half.
Yeah.
And we're talking about in depth that we are Tottenham TV, and I was like, this can't continue. We've got to. And then the people I was doing it with, Simeon and Brains, were like, no, give him 10 minutes, give him 15 minutes, and if not, you make a change. And obviously, what he did was brilliant to get on the end for that second goal, because the centre forward moves in to the near. You've also got to move in and cover the space that's been left by the centre
Yeah, it was
forward.
a good run. It was a good run into
And
the
mate, not just a good run, the finish was a
the
very,
finish
very
was
clever
superb.
finish. It needed to
Yeah.
be a clever finish,
He
and he
needs
did
more
that.
though, Brian. He needs
Yeah, of
more.
course he does.
Okay,
Hopefully that goal can now go right. The real Kulu is back, or Kulusevski, shall I say? And we'll
I
go
can't
from
have
there.
one moment. I can't have one moment in 90. You know, that's
No, you're right. That you're right. That you're right. And you know what? Here we go. It's time for Ange Ball. Ange Ball. I love Ange Ball. Here
Can
we
we
go.
just check before we go to Ange Ball? Before we go to Ange Ball, can we have a look at the old scoreboard, please?
That's what I'm going to do right now, as promised. We've come to the part for the birthday boy love, and I said smash a like to wish the gaffer a happy birthday. There's currently 401 people in here. We have 242 likes. So big up to everyone.
It can do a lot better, guys. Listen, it's only a thumb. It's only a thumb click away. It helps our channel, and it helps with the content, and it helps with our algorithm, and it helps to bring more people to the show. So, if you could, we'd really appreciate you hitting that like button. And if you're here for the first time, to subscribe so you don't miss the show. Doesn't cost any money. Nothing will happen to you. You won't be inundated with emails.
And just so you know, such has been our growth recently that we are currently less than 10 subscribers away from hitting 6,000, 6,600 subscribers, which would mean 600 subscribers in 2 weeks, which is just mind blowing for us. And we're getting back up and running. So if we can get an extra 10 subs, fantastic. But enough talking about that. It's the time of the show, the show that this is all about. Our 1 in a million, our Super Aussie, our birthday boy, Ange Postecoglou. Johnny, take it away.
Listen, who'd have thought a manager would lift the gloom and doom that we've been in such a short space of time to create such optimism and such a fantastic atmosphere in this fan base? I didn't think it was possible. I really didn't think it was possible to do what he's done in such a short space of time. I had hope, and we all knew, you know, from the Celtic fans, the comment yesterday, which I just loved when he was on the TNT Sports, when Joe Cole was asking him, you know, what's your secret? You know, what's your secret? You don't mean to tell me. He goes, you know, what is it that you do? And he said, I just copy Pep, right? Which was a great retort, because if you'd have heard Gary Neville earlier in the week, he was saying that Ange just copies Pep Guardiola, right? I've just thought, you know, that is great banter backwards and forwards between him. He's the way he talks is a breath of fresh air. No blaming, no throwing the players under the bus. He's there, front and centre. I could go on. Come back to me. You have your go.
I would. I mean, I'm gonna start this first of all with we'll talk press conferences and interviews. Then I'll get on to then we'll get on to everything. I mean, what he said about when he met Ozzy, and he spoke about his trivia question when he asked people who was the first Aussie to win the FA Cup, and people normally say Craig Johnston of Liverpool, and he goes, no, Ozzy Ardiles. It's brilliant. You saw the affection and love for Ozzy when they met at the training ground. But mate, even before he said just copy and Pep, mate, when the guy's putting the microphone on him and he's like, introduce yourself first, please, or next time. And they just do you know what? You see it at the press conferences or when he's doing interviews pre and post match. the love this man, the media love him already. The pundits love him already. Us fans are, I mean, I've seen so many things now of the support for Ange during that Manchester United game. But after the Man U game, in the ground, in the concourses, outside, and again yesterday when the players and fans went over there to thank the fans that have travelled, it was just unbelievable. I honestly, I don't know a manager in world football, and I'm being serious now, saying world football opens this up big time, that has come in and had such an impact on a football club. Listen, when Antonio Conte came in, the Antonio song and everything it was electric at Tottenham. This is on another scale. This is on another level. The way this man talks football and wants football played, and how he gets his players doing it. So I don't know a manager that's come into a team so deflated, so ripped apart, so fragmented in everywhere, in every department. The fans from the players, the fans from the club, the players from the manager, the board to the players, just absolutely everything this man has come in and had to deal with. I do not know anyone that could have come in and done this. I have not seen this kind of enthusiasm from us, including myself, and people know how I feel about certain parts of this football club. He is, quite frankly, unbelievable. And Terry, thank you very much, brother. Really, really appreciate that.
You know what he should be doing? You know what he should be doing? Daniel Levy should have been out there buying him a gold Rolex and offering him all the gold he can eat right now for deflecting away from everything else that was going on. Because let's be serious, right? We had the worst pre-season we've had that I can ever remember. An absolute farce, dragging ourselves to the other side of the world. All the games were almost pointless. Losing your star striker, the man who should not be named.
Yep.
And waiting till like a week before the season to begin to finally get your centre back. And look at the positivity. It's incredible. It really is incredible. Is it misplaced? I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, you're hyping it up. You're hyping it up." But what do you want us to do? Do you want us to remain negative? We've spent 3.5, 4 years in negative wilderness, right?
Yep.
I don't want to be there anymore. Yes, we're going to have bumps in the road, right? Maybe there'll be bumps. Maybe there'll be potholes. Who knows?
Yeah.
You know, if we can see progression, I said, I to be honest with you, Brian, I said I'm not going to evaluate till November, January time to see where we are. But, you know, I'm looking at it now. I mean, even that press conference where the guy held up his shirt, Kane's shirt, you know, he's going, "You enjoy that one, did you? Yeah, that you come all that way." He made the guy look like an idiot.
Yeah.
But there's that balance between firmness of stupidity when a journalist wants to come at him with stupidity and the ability to turn certain situations humorously. But I think the journalists love his honesty, and I think us Spurs fans, having been so used to the blame game, is nothing to do with me scenario that we had. But most of all, I can't remember, not since Poch, even under Poch.
Poch took time.
How proud he was, how he talks and how proud he is that he's actually managing this club.
Yeah.
You know, it feels real. It feels honest, which
it does. It does. There's
just
a couple of things.
Go on.
Couple of things I'm just going to address quickly. Jim, one thing I would say, mate, is don't say none of you wanted him, because there's a large section that did. I personally wanted Thomas Frank, but once he advanced, I completely backed down when he came in. I know there are a lot of people that did not want him, but when you say none of you wanted him, that's where you got to be careful, because there's large sections that did. I didn't have him in my in my top 10, if I'm or no, maybe not my top 10, but definitely not my top 5. But
Jim,
as soon as
can
it
I
started
just
advancing, I was delighted. I started doing a lot of research on him, and I, for one, have backed him all the way. Everyone that I know that I can say for that stands with us for Levy out, always back the manager, always. So it's just I wouldn't say none of you
can
wanted
I
him.
can I answer this,
Yeah,
Jim?
of course you
Can I
can,
answer this,
brother.
Jim? Look, the thing is, Jim, right? We all have our favourites, okay? And I've stated this on numerous times on streams, on spaces, that Ange wasn't in my top 10. Right, I'm a Spurs and Rangers fan, right? So Ange was never going to be popular. But if you asked me whether he was a good manager for Celtic, I would have told you yes. Look what he's done, right? But you know, in Scottish football, I didn't know how that would translate, and I'll put my hands up, as you quite rightly said. But to say nobody wanted it, none of you wanted him. No, because I had Slot was my first choice. And other players, other managers. But I think to throw that now is pointless, because once he was the manager, we all got behind him and hoped for the best. We really did, and he won us over very, very quickly. So let's not hop about the past.
That's what they do.
Was.
That's what they do. Before we go back to our Ange love, and then we'll start answering some questions because there's a few in here. Got a couple of super chats, so thank you for the super chats. Still 432 of you in here. Thank you for your support of the show and the channel. Do you think he is a better manager than Poch? This is a bold question.
Listen, look, Graham, he might well go on to become a better manager than Poch. But let's be honest, we had a great run under Poch, even though everyone who hates him now, for me, that was some of the best football I've experienced as a Spurs fan. And I go back a long way. I loved our brand of football. The last year was obviously wasn't good, but the journey to the final, my only regret is not winning the finals. But there's a long way to go for him to be linked up with Poch and to do a comparison. You know,
I'm in agreement.
3 games, 4.5 years.
I'm in total and utter agreement with you. But what I will say in regards to this is Pochettino until Aston Villa, because his job was in a very precarious position. Then obviously he got going and he got motoring and he won the fans over. He united the club and did some, like I said, for me, the best football I saw without having Gazza in the team. And I will always say that. But what Ange has come in and done within 3 games, and let's say he started July the 1st. He hasn't even been here 2 months yet. We're getting to the 2-month mark.
He's done more than Scott Munn, and he's been here since May. But I think he's still hiding under.
This is very, very, very true.
Has anyone
Another
seen
super
Scott
chat.
Munn?
Another super chat from Big Up Ryan at Tottenham Forever. Go check out his channel. Postecoglou is the best, just like Mickey and Maddison, in my opinion. But do you think it could be top 4 or even a title challenge? Big up, Brian. Big up yourself, Ryan. Johnny, you go first, mate.
Look, I'm not going to get carried away. Okay, I'm really not, because I feel we're only a couple of injuries away from disaster again. We need some more depth at the back. Ashley Phillips is a fantastic young defender, but he's not ready. I keep Sanchez. I think we need another centre-back. I think we need potentially another young 6. Well, because what we're going to do when Sarah and Basuma go off to the nations concert and get it out of my mouth in a minute. The African nations, and Song goes off to the Asian Cup in January. It's going to be a problem for us. I believe we need another striker, whether it's Gift Auburn, whether it's Mawani, whether it's Ivan Toney or whoever. I believe we need a backup, because if Richie does get injured, you can't just play Son every game. We got Alejo Veliz, whether he comes to the fore, I'm not sure. He's 6'2". He's a bit of a unit, and he likes the balls into the box. So if you were playing a Perisic and so he could be a backup. But I think it's far too early. Far too early. My prediction for the beginning of the season was 5th or 6th.
Yep. I mean,
before a ball was kicked.
I agree with everything he said. For me, I'm as much as I love him, I'm not. There are teams that have strengthened a lot more than we have, and I think that just might be a push. We don't know until we sign in it before the window, or if we sign, and then January. I'm giving Ange a realistic push of six. Listen, in the first season under Poch, we missed out on Champions League. And then we all know what happened next. For me, this season is just Ange to settle in, get these players playing the way we are, keep it consistent, get into Europe, win a cup, or have a serious cup run. And then next summer will be, here we go. I really think next summer could be a huge...
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly. You know? So I'm giving him all the time in the world, and I'm going to say, because I can see him going at it again, just very quickly. Where is it? Jim, I can understand, because obviously you're not a Spurs fan, but you feel the need to assume that you know what Spurs fans think. There are no negatives in Ange, correct, apart from his inexperience in the big leagues, but that's totally understandable. He hasn't been offered the job in the big leagues. He now has it. Will now fill that on his CV. You, the Spurs fans who didn't want him, found them first. Just consider yourselves ill-informed and super lucky. Listen, I don't know what team you support. Football is all about that. Did Brighton know who Matoma was? Did Arsenal know who Arsene Wenger was? Freddie Ljungberg, Patrick Vieira, Emmanuel Petit.
Arsene Wenger.
No one knew who any of these people were. Were they all ill-informed when they came in? This is the thing. Again, as I said, you have to be careful in the way you say things, because that doesn't come across right. You assume, and what makes it worse is you're not even a Spurs fan, and then you're coming in to try and cause tension or say that you know best. So
let's move on, Brian. Let's not give him
space. That's all. That's all I'm going to say about that. But now. Let's get back onto Angela before we start answering the questions. I have to say, even the Angel song, which is absolutely goddamn brilliant, I am loving the attacking football. I think we've had 3 games now where we've probably had more attacking. I might do the research for our next game before Fulham. And just to let you guys know, Ange-r Management will be back for Fulham as well. That will be, we normally do Cockerel Doodle Doo in the morning. It will be at 8:50 in the morning. Cockerel Doodle Doo will be gone for the day. Ange-r Management will be back with us. And Sunday, same time as this week, after Burnley. And I'm going to both games. So I might be a bit tired. God knows what time we'll get back from Burnley because we're on the coach. But yeah, getting back to Ange, I'm going to work out. I think we've had more attempts on goal, more shots on target, more possession, more passes. I'm going to try and work it out in how many games it took under Conte for us to get to the amount of shots that we've had on goal this time last season. How long it took
the whole season,
mate. I honestly, like, let's have a look. Honestly, if I was to say to the people in the chat, and there's 420, and you, Johnny, the 3 games alone we've just played, and we'll work out the shots later. How many games into the season is your prediction that it took to get to those attempts on goal?
Funny enough, last season, amazingly enough, was our best ever start to a Premier League season, but it just never ever felt like it. It never felt like it. I mean, we beat Southampton 4-1, and I walked away saying, I thought we weren't great. And they go, well, how can you say that? I said Southampton were horrific. Went on to be proved. But I think we had a good start, so it might be a little bit deceiving. But the amount of passes in a game or possession. Yep. I mean, I don't remember us ever having. I think yesterday we had 70% possession again away from home.
It's crazy. It's crazy. But now we'll wrap up with the questions we've got in the chats. that I've starred. So we'll go through them. Johnny, you'll go first. Josh, Tottenham on tour. Do you think Ange is our Shane Warne?
Well, everyone loves Shaney, right? So hopefully so, Josh.
There you go. I can't really. I can't.
Go on. I was just going to say, even the English fans love Shane Warne.
Yeah, I can't really answer it. I can't really answer it because I can't stand cricket, but I know he was much loved.
You knew it was cricket. I thought you thought it was the guy that got stung by the ray.
No, that's Steve Irvine. I know my. I did think it was the crocodile hunter.
I thought you thought it was him.
No. He's more like that. He's more like our crocodile hunter. He is more like our Steve Irvine.
Good day.
Josh again. Too many fans focusing on scoring from one source. However, Ange has goals coming all over the pitch. I much prefer that. You agree, Johnny?
Listen, this is what I was just saying, right? This is now a collective, okay? We're going to have goals coming from everywhere. The way he plays, even if said person who should not be named was in the team, there'll be goals coming from everywhere. And I feel that we're no longer looking for him for every pass, okay? We're looking for each other as a team. And as Ange says, I want you to go into the space, no matter if you're a defender, whether you're a centre-back. It was more than 57%. I've got it on here. Let me just check. Hang on. We had, according to the stats, 69.4% possession.
Oh, there we go.
7 shots on target, 23 shots in total, 831 touches of the ball, 631 passes compared to 292 for them, 16 tackles, 10 clearances, 19 corners, 3 offsides, 2 yellow cards, and 5 fouls conceded.
I have to say, my app does say 57% possession.
Oh, does it?
Yeah. Okay. So do you know what other apps? Yeah. Whatever it was, we came out on top of it. But getting back,
it's the FA League one, so maybe the FA don't know what they're talking about. But which one was yours?
Mine is the one I have a great app called Forza that I use for all footballing thing. It's brilliant. I highly recommend it to everyone. It used to be called another name, I can't remember, but Forza is an incredible app. I would give it a go, lads and ladies. Listen, I'm loving this Ange system and that the goals are distributed elsewhere. And you can see from our attacking play that it literally is coming from anywhere. Next question. Neil Priest. Everton are in a mess. Could Levy get him his refund? Hopefully the Saudis come in for him. So we know we're talking about Richie here. Well, would you be with Richie?
He's not getting.
If we got an offer in, would you be open to it, or you think give him time to come?
No one's going to make an offer for him. Ancelotti still likes him because he knows the player and probably could get a tune out of him. But no one's coming in for him in this current state. So forget about that one. Everton would probably try to offer us Dele Alli back.
Yep.
In fact, I would take Dele Alli back. I would take a depressed Dele Alli back and give them Eric Dyer in exchange, and we rehabilitate Dele and see if we can get him back to how he once was.
All I will say, you mentioned Dele, I wouldn't take him back just yet because he needs to focus on him. But my word, if he gets his mind focused again, a Dele Alli in this, Jesus Christ. Oh my God, that would be scary. Right, Michael, big up Michael. Just cast his celestial charm on the Spurs nation. Even mistakes we would have gone mad about last season are delightfully trivial. He's completely bang on the money, isn't he?
Yeah.
Completely bang on the money. We know there's going to be mistakes. We know there may be mistakes along the road. We thought they were going to come early. And it has just been outstanding, and the turnaround has been incredible. Next one, going to enjoy this question. This is the delightful. Last season we were praying this guy would come back quickly. Right now we are in a position where we can relax on his recovery. We can let him spend his time to make sure he is 100% okay and not just rush back in because we desperately need him. But what a delightful thing to have. Hey, Johnny, from what Iceman says,
Listen,
what happens to Benny when he comes back?
he was my favourite player last season. I absolutely loved Bentancur. I absolutely do. But Iceman, just to let you know, there's absolutely no chance whatsoever of him being back in September. None. He's trying to rush back quickly. I don't think he'll be playing football. My prediction, January is when I think realistically, he'll be playing competitive football. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. We'll need him in January for sure. But I do not. I'm happy to play Bentancur and Højbjerg. I'm not happy to be playing, if we get rid of Højbjerg, to have Skip and a half-fit Bentancur playing in January. So we want him back. Let's please God he comes back the player that he was that left.
What I'll add to that, Joe, is that the way I'm looking at this, I don't know if you feel the same or people in the chat feel the same, is first of all, I just want to say thank you to everyone because we are now hitting 6,600 subscribers. So thank you for your support. I will have to say, it is literally, for me, I see this as I see this being that he's back to first team training in September. I don't think he's ready to come into the team. I reckon this is solely running. You're back integrated with the first team. Yeah. We are going to rush you. There's no rushing you back. But I've seen that September quote. There's no way with this kind of injury, like you said, that he's going to be fit and ready to go. For me, this is September. His training gets upped. His training begins or is escalated, ready for his recovery. And right now, like I said, we've had this moment where we've had to rush players back, and it's like, you're fit, you're running, you're ready, off you go. Right now, thank the Lord, there is no rush to come back in. Our midfield, that was our weakest area after he went and got his injury, to me, is now our strongest area. Although, unbelievably, our defence is fastly approaching. Who would have thought? So for me, I read September, and we have heard September, that's his step up in training for me personally. Next one, Adam, big up Adam Brisbane. Do you think Ange will speed up stoppages like Celtic, where he had the ball boys trained to make speed and tempo faster? Johnny?
Yeah, I mean, I've been going on about this. I think this is why he's taken off the youngsters, Udogie and Sarr, because they're running. Yep. They're running non-stop. The intensity is quite intense. I think I was a bit surprised he didn't use all the subs against Man United and use some different ones against Brentford. So, yeah, I haven't seen it with the ball boys, but yes, the throws, the free kicks, everything's much, much quicker. Big up, Danny.
Big up, Mr. Kiriakou.
And, everything's high intensity. I hope we can keep it going. One thing's for sure, we are not at the peak of our fitness yet.
Yep.
Not a chance. So we can only get fitter, stronger, and we'll need to be.
Yep. And Adam, I'm in complete agreement with you. Whenever I think of this, I think of obviously Jose Mourinho and that ball boy that helped us get the assist for the Champions League goal that a certain person scored. I can definitely see this happening. And if he did it with Celtic, I would imagine he's done it elsewhere. So I would be pretty sure that this will be something we will see going forward. Next one, Gary in Australia. I know it's early, but what do you think our ceiling might be under performance-wise under Ange? It's a great question, Gary.
Listen, before a ball was kicked, I wondered, how Ange ball would translate to the Premier League. Then I delved in and saw, he's a disciple of Pep Guardiola. Pep Guardiola talked very fondly of him, how great his football was. And then I read an article about Ange and his journalist, and he said if you took Pep Guardiola, Pep ball, and Arteta ball, and gave it steroids, that would be Ange ball. And I can see why, because the intensity is so big. Can you carry that intensity throughout the season? Pochettino, in a lot of his teams at the beginning, we had to calm it down. The Bielsa ball, where the intensity was so high, but they fell off towards the latter, like last, say, quarter of the season. I hope that Ange can keep this momentum up. He uses the sub and the squad, unlike Conte, and we can keep that momentum and that intensity going throughout the full season. The sky's the limit. I don't know what our ceiling is. I don't think any of us do. We can all hope that our ceiling is the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
But I think right now we're looking for progression on that mountain, and I'll be happy to get, halfway up or 3/4 of the way up that mountain and maybe have a run at a trophy.
I think you're right. And you know what? For me, Gary, he seems to have sorted the defence. Yes, it's early, but what I think everyone will be happy with the defence we've got. Obviously, we want an addition, but I mean the starting 11, the midfield 3 looks incredible. We've just spoken about we got Bentancur to come back in it, and this is what we're getting without the front 3 firing. Jesus Christ, with the front 3 clicking and then the whole team clicking together, this team could go on to greatness, but it all means he has to be here for the entire length of his contract. There will be times where we go through a rough patch, and we have to understand that and have to take that into consideration. But for me, with this man, the sky is honestly the limit. If he can get everything that he wants done over to a certain person to screw that part up. But yeah, I think with him, the sky is the limit. Big fan, supporter of the channel, shall I say, and it's wonderful we can actually see his comments again, thank God. Anthony Rodriguez, all the way in Sweden. How are you, my brother? How much patience should we give Richarlison? I noticed that Ange got tired of him yesterday. His body language is not okay. Johnny?
Can't disagree with any of that. What was interesting was Ange defending him and saying he'll be working on it. Now, I think Conte would have thrown him under the bus. Potentially Mourinho would have thrown him under the bus. Ange was sort of protecting him. I think we'll see. Will he play against Fulham? Or will he play Dane Scarlett, who was actually at the game as part of the match day squad, but not actually in the squad itself, just for the bench? I think Ange is the type of guy who is. Have I seen the light? Mate, I have not been. Listen, guys, right? I have not been saying how great he is, right? Not once. Go and check back, okay? And Danny, if you'd been here at the beginning, you would have heard me going on about it right at the beginning, okay? He was terrible yesterday, so there's not much more to say. But can Ange turn his game around? Who knows? Only time can tell. We'll know. If he doesn't think he can, he'll be dropped.
Right? I'm in complete agreement with you. I think, I don't know when you came in, Anthony, brother. I mentioned as well, and you know what it is? I don't even think it's whether he's got patience with him right now. I can't see. I think the way Perisic is playing is putting huge pressure, or I personally would think is putting huge pressure on Ange to get him in because of the impact he's having. And then it's like, right, what do I do? Do I drop Son, my captain, or do I drop Richarlison and move Son in? I think not only is Richarlison's form questioning Ange, I think Perisic's form is putting a load of pressure on it. So we'll see what happens with we'll see what happens with Fulham and obviously Burnley. Terry Jacobs has got the same question.
I was just going to say very quickly, it was a strange comment Ange made when he said, the only one I couldn't quite understand, he said, well, I've got 3 games within a week, so I thought I'd keep the same team. Normally you say, I've got 3 games in a week, so I thought I'd change it up.
Yeah, that's true. But Terry, big up, Terry. Good to see you in here. If you had the choice right now, you keeping or letting him go?
Well, he's not playing well, but letting him go, I mean, it's a stupid question, isn't it? Because we let him go if you're going to buy a top striker, okay?
Yep.
But if we're not buying a striker, how can we let him go? So we have to keep him. Is his form any good? No. Is he playing well? No. Does it something need to happen? Yes. Will it happen? We don't know, right? But
yep.
We need a backup striker. We all know
we
that.
Do. We do.
If you bring in an Ivan Toney, then Richie should go.
Yep. You're right there. What I will say as well, the Truth 82 reads puts in a good point. But Roy Perez is more suited to being a superstar. He's 34 after all. Do you know what? You may have a point, but right now, his form, and you see him play 90 minutes for Croatia regularly, he keeps himself in very, very, very good condition. Maybe he comes on for 60 minutes, gets a few goals, so we're up in the league. Then he comes off. Who knows? I mean,
he can do 90, Brian. Right?
I agree with you that. I agree. Now,
if we were in Europe,
yep.
Yeah, and we were playing 3 games a week.
Yeah, you're right.
You're not right. Then maybe he's just playing in the European games.
You're right. And then Nicholas has got who's had the better window? Spurs, Arsewipes, Filth, or West Ham. What are you going for?
Right now, I don't think our window. Now, am I happy with all the signings? Yes. Right. If the window closed tomorrow and we didn't sign anyone, for me, it's a 4 out of 10 because we have not addressed the elephant in the room: a backup striker, another centre back, and potentially a 6 or a winger. I think we need 3 more players. Okay. So right now,
and the Deadwood out. You got to bring in Johnny the Deadwood out.
Well, the Deadwood goes without saying, right? But it's a hard one to call. Wet Spam have done very well bringing the money in. Again, like us, it was all about Declan, and now top of the league without Declan Rice. Okay, with us, it's all about the man that should not be mentioned over and over again, and on TV yesterday. Before the game, after the game, in the analysis of the game, it's all the same. So it's hard to say. I think it's too early yet to say. I think it's too early.
I'm in total and utter agreement with you. And the final question before we wrap this up, as a great question to finish on. Do you think Spurs can win the FA Cup this season? From a big supporter of the channel, DJ Samuel, big up my brother. How far do you reckon Spurs could have their name on the cup?
I like to think we got more of a chance in the what's it called this season? The Carabao.
Yep.
I'm so used to the Rumble. The Carabao Cup. I feel we could have a better chance in the Carabao Cup. Although Fulham are probably buzzing after yesterday's game. In fact, the guy who was playing there, Calvin Bassey, I really liked him. He had a good game yesterday before he got sent off. No, I think I like to think we're going to have a good run in the Carabao Cup, and with all the top teams probably playing in Europe and otherwise distracted, they might put out weaker teams in this early round. So I think that could be our main chance, and I'll be happy with it.
Yeah, I'm going to go. I'm going to go with DJ Samuel. I'm going to go with DJ Samuel and go, do you know what? The FA Cup is coming back to the rightful home that it's been missing since 1991.
And why is that? Right? Because that man that should not be mentioned was a curse.
Mate, it would be absolutely the irony of him going and us winning a trophy would be. Yeah. I just think when they say things that happen in football, like the magic of the FA Cup, the draws that come out, and the managers returning to old teams, and the lower league teams beating the big boys. What bigger irony is it than Spurs winning the hallowed FA Cup again?
Get your money on it. You heard it here first, guys. In fact, you heard it here 10 days ago when I said Harry's a curse.
So here we go. We've got one more question that we will address. One more question. How far off is Valise? Not heard much about him. Listen, I don't think Postecoglou has said he won't be featuring a lot this season. This is him getting his feet under the carpet and get under the desk. Sorry, under the carpet. under the desk
Try getting your
and
foot
getting
under the
familiar.
carpet.
I think another striker hopefully should come
Could have
in
been-
this week,
could have
and
just
we
said-
go from there.
We have got Brian Gill after his operation on his moustache, so he should be back very soon. But Valise, please, guys, the people who keep coming and saying Valise is just another Brian Gill. Valise, Brian Gill's, I think 5'7", is he? I think he's 5'7", maybe 5'8". I don't think he's much taller. Valise is 6'2". Okay, they're not the same player. Okay, they're not the same build whatsoever. I think Valise potentially could get game time maybe in the cups later on. Potentially, I'd like to see him maybe training with the first team. It might spur him on. Who knows? Stranger things have happened, but he's not ready just yet.
Yep, you're absolutely right. Right, well, this brings another end to Ange-r Management. I'm just going to do the final check on the like count for Ange's birthday. We had up to 430 people in here today, and we are at 307 likes. So, guys, thank you very, very much indeed for that. Johnny, always a pleasure, mate. You and me will be back for Cockerel Doodle Doo in the morning, but where can people find you?
You can find me here on Johnny H 3232. I don't know what Elon's doing with the newly formed X, because it's been screwing around with my my Twitter account. I woke up and found 450 people had disappeared from it. I don't know what happened. So if you get a chance, give me a follow here on my Twitter, Johnny H 3232, and we'll be doing some spaces hopefully this week, if not today. And we'll, you're welcome to come in and chat. We have about 10 people in the room at a time talking, and not all at the same time, obviously, and hundreds listening. You're welcome wherever you are in the world and whatever your opinion. And Brian, it's been a great show again, as always.
It has. And we'll be back tomorrow with this man who was meant to be there Friday with us, but we didn't go Friday because something came up for me. So David will be with us. We will be back tomorrow at 8:50 for your breakfast show, Cockerel Doodle Doo, where the focus will be transfers. Levy. So everyone,
we go out with an Ange Postecoglou.
Mate, we only go out with one thing. First of all, happy birthday. Happy birthday to the great man.
Oh,
but there's only you can do that, and I will say like, share, comment, subscribe, and as always, Levy out.